in an effort to keep the job ticking over, I thought I'd come up here this evening and do a bit of work on the car. I'm going to look at the mirrors, see if I can work on the bits where the rivet nuts are going. I think I probably need to enlarge the holes a bit, but I won't have much time tonight. I'll just, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, something like that. I've just got to keep picking away at it and making sure the progress is constantly moving forward, even if it's just an hour of an evening after work. Otherwise I'm not going to get it done for May. Every little helps. Sunday afternoon, back in the workshop. What I'm going to do is put these rivet nuts in here. One of the things you'll see is that hole is obviously square from whatever was in before, and it's a bit big for the rivet nut, as you can see there. Get your finger out of the way. Still can't see, but anyway, take my word for it. It's a bit big in that square hole, and I don't think it's going to tighten. Right, as I was saying, what you can do is, when the hole's too big, is you put a washer to take up the extra gap, and you'll put that'll be the other side of the panel, obviously, and that way when you tighten the rivet nut, it's tightening up against the washer that is a good fit and nipping the head of the rivet nut and the washer on the panel work, and that way it should keep it tight in a hole that's in theory too big. The other thing I'm going to do is put some sealant around that little grommet, 'cause it's not quite the right size, just to get some water tightness on it. And if I'd remembered, I was going to bring some gaskets to see if I had any that are the same size as that area there, just to make it a nice seal for the mirror. But I forgot about that and I've left them at home, so I'll not be doing that. Right, could have both done. That one was an absolute pain in the backside, because I had to try and hold the washer from the back edge on the end of my finger and do the rivet nut going from this side. It was another one of those jobs where I needed 3 pairs of hands and I only got 1. So what I'm going to do now is just put some sealant in there and put the grommet back in. Don't need much, just a smear, and then it'll go hard after it's sealed. I have to put the grommet in, it'll go hard over time, just to stop any rainwater from getting in. That's going to be more than enough. That'll do, and then I'll leave that to go dry. be fine. As I said, I might try and find a gasket to go on there, similar sort of size to the water outlet on a cylinder head for the heater, something like that. I have some gaskets roughly that sort of size, so I'll see if anything fits. And the important thing is that the mirror still fits. That sits nicely on there, and the bolts will go back in. In fact, I could do that just loosely. A little bit awkward. There you go, so even though they're not tight, it proves it does go back in. And this side is exactly the same as the last side. It's a little bit tricky on this one because there's a double skin in there, so I'm not exactly sure how it's going to grab. But the other side went tight, so I'm assuming this one's going to be alright as well. This side one's just pushed in, but it's sort of tight already. I'm not sure if I did that one. I maybe did. I'll just give it a little nip just to be sure. Yeah, that's alright. So I'll just get some sealant on there as before and then put the mirror back on. Success with that, so now I think I deserve a brew. So what I've done is I put the main dash back in. I've just finished sorting out the wiring in behind it. I got rid of a lot more wiring from the dim dip relay. Fair bit neater now. Rather than putting all that black insulation tape back on it, the self-amalgamating tape, I've just put tie wraps on it just to keep it separated and slightly tidy, and it means you can still see the wiring, what goes where. So now that I've got all that wiring out, that's the wiring I've saved. I stripped it all the way back to the fuse box and all the way back to the lighting switch and the dim dip stalk as well, and I've checked it all works fine, no problems at all. So that's saved a bit of wiring and hopefully a bit less confusion going on in the wiring system. So in regards to the speedo and the stack dash that got sent off, the speedo's come back. It went to Spa Technique or Spa Design down in Leicestershire, and it cost £66.48, and it's had a complete fresh LCD screen on the front of it. It looks spot on. They did say that it was quite an old one, but the LCD screen in that still did fit. So that's going, and I've had that, what I think I said on a previous video, I've had it probably 15 years at least. So it's done well, and £66 isn't too bad. The stack dash got sent off on Friday, I think it was. Had quite a bit of trouble trying to get it out of stack, because obviously it's a US company and then they've got a UK agent. I did contact them stack via the website first one evening, didn't get a reply. Eventually I emailed them direct and got a contact with a guy called Mark, who then put me on to the UK agent, which is a firm called 213 Performance, and they're pretty much on the ball. They can do all the repairs I want. They can put the battery in, which I think was going to be £134, and I also asked them to change the sweep of the display from 0 to 4000 to 10,000 type, you know, where 0 to 4 is like really condensed. So it's just going to be a conventional sweep all the way around from 0 to 8,000, which is more than enough for this car. That's going to be slightly more expensive. That's going to be £237, because they have to break the glass on the front to put the new face in and a new needle pointer and plus all the setting up. So that's all. So that's £237 plus VAT plus postage. It says on the terms and conditions it's about a 5-day turnaround. So if they get it early part of this next week, it's Sunday now, so if they get it maybe Monday, Tuesday this week, perhaps next week it should come back, which would be ideal, which is getting close to dyno time. So I can crack on, get everything else done in here, get the exhaust done. The mirrors are done now, obviously they need setting up, but get the exhaust done next, I think, because I can't do much more in the electrics till that dash comes back. I might be able to do a little bit of tidying up on that hole where the switches go. I might even be able to put the central section of dash back in and see about mounting it properly, because I think, just looking at it here beside me, that I don't need to rely on the stacked dash, because it's captive nuts in it now in the plate in the face of it there, so I can just screw it back in when it comes. The speedo that's back already, that will just fasten on with self-adhesive tape again, so I might be able to put this back in. I'll have to have a think about that, but looks promising. I can put that back in and get it all mounted properly, obviously do that exhaust, and then there's not that much more to do. Obviously the static dash is going to be quite important, and see about bleeding the brakes a bit more. What else? Just general reassembly and going over things. I know it starts and that once I get the dash and stuff back together, but I'll have to calibrate fuel system again. Yeah, there's a certain amount of stuff I can't do until the stack comes back, but I think there's a good amount I could get done in beforehand. Certainly stuff like putting the exhaust, fixing that and sealing it and putting it back on properly, I can do it independently of the stack coming back. But apart from that, not a million miles off. I could probably put that seat back in as well. finish wiping out the back, put that seat back in, and I think, without counting my chickens etc, I think we're sort of on target for the dyno day on the Saturday before Blyton. What I'm going to do also is I'm going to put 6-inch wide wheels on the front, oh well, on the front and the back, or maybe mainly on the front, to help it get on the trailer, because it was a bit tight last time, and I scraped the alloys, although they're only cheap, you know, things with lacquer coming off them, but I still don't want to scratch the hell out of them on the trailer. So I'm going to put some 6-inch wheels on just to help for loading it on and off the trailer. And I also need to sort out about getting all these cars swapped around, because it's going to be like a Chinese puzzle or whatever the hell it is, where you move one part, then move another to get all 3 cars out. So this one's at the very back of the garage, and it needs to be on the trailer. And there's 2 cars to move. And whether I end up taking it home to do some work on it there, make life easier, don't know yet, but we'll see.